Donohoo Chevrolet's first ever podcast. I'm joined by Andrew. He's our commercial upfit and inventory manager. I'm Tyler. I do the marketing for Donohoo Chevrolet. Donohoo Chevrolet in 2024 was the #1 HD truck dealer in the United States. So our goal for this is going to be just sort of have a conversation about commercial inventory, about upfits, and kind of the buying process that you would recommend to somebody if they were in the market for a truck or an HD for themselves, for their family, or for their business. So to get started into it, how did we become the #1 truck dealer in the United States?
Yeah, so #1 HD truck dealer for the 2024 year. A few different ways we got there. So number one, I think it's the biggest thing that sets us apart from other dealers is the amount of inventory we keep in stock. So I'll use some current numbers from today. We have about 250 3500 Silverados in stock today. We have around 80 2500 Silverado work trucks in stock today. So if you wanted to come to our lot and see just about any HD truck, you can do that here, any trim level, 2500s and 3500s. So we offer a lot of trucks that you can put your hands on, drive, check out different upfits. We're the one-stop shop to see all of that all in one place. So also transparent pricing. All of our vehicles have an upfront price on the website. We're a one-price store with our best price up front. All of our trucks with upfits also have a transparent price up front on the upfit. A lot of times we've heard from customers that it is hard to shop for upfits because a lot of the listings show the truck, maybe the truck's not shown with the upfit and it does have one, or the other way around, there's an upfit there, but the upfit itself is not priced. And it makes it difficult for the customer to figure out what the final price is on that truck. So
if you were to shop with us, you would be able to see the truck, the price of the truck, the price of the upfit, and what your total cost is.
That's exactly right. So you're going to see that in the very first picture of every vehicle that we sell. That number is going to be front and center, and it's not something you're going to have to search for or scroll around looking for.
What about the other stuff that some dealers do? Are you going to get do you have to finance with us?
No finance requirements. There are no other outside requirements with us at Donohoo Chevrolet. The only other requirement would be we have a dock fee of $299.
Okay. All right. I mean, I guess as long as you're not going to get those nitrogen tires.
No nitrogen required in the tires. No K&N air filters, no window tint, unless you want that.
Oh, okay. If I were in the market for a truck, let's say I need something for personal and for business use, what is the process of just narrowing it down? Because from what I've seen, we've had over 250 different types of beds and upfits and everything else.
Right.
It seems a bit overwhelming. Where would you start?
It can be. So let's start with talking about the work truck trim level. So a lot of people that are looking for a truck to work out of are looking at a work truck trim level. A work truck trim level today is a lot different than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. A work truck now is typically coming with power windows and locks. Most come with cruise control. You've got keyless entry on a lot of those trucks too. So that's a common misconception we see a lot of is people think a work truck is a stripped down truck with no options. It is a daily driver truck these days. See a lot of people that are able to take their family to the ballparks on the weekends, take the kids to school in the morning in their work truck, and then go to work straight from there in the same vehicle. It's not the loud, smelly, dirty old diesel truck, a lot of people think about when you think about a work truck. These are some nice amenities in a work truck trim level these days. So I think one of the first questions you ask is, does a stock truck bed, as it would come from Chevrolet with a standard tailgate and bed sides on it, does that work for what I need it to work for? So your other option would be a flatbed or a service body on that similar, let's say a 2500 Silverado. So if the stock truck bed works for you, then you probably don't need to load a lot of pallets from the side of the truck. You're not loading a lot of materials in and out of the truck. It's something that you need to contain what you have inside the bed, and that tailgate closing and keeping everything in there works fine for you. Now, if that doesn't, and you fall into the category where you need to load pallets, loading material from the side, being able to have an ease of access to maybe your tools, to your materials you're hauling, that's where the flatbed would come in. So most flatbeds that you're going to see added to a 2500 or a 3500 Silverado also come with a gooseneck hitch for a gooseneck trailer. Outside of that, if you need more storage that, let's say, might be weatherproof storage, you might be looking at a service body addition to a 2500 Silverado. So I think you have three different categories when you're talking about a 2500. Main categories. You've got a stock bed, you've got a service body, and you've got a flatbed. Now, under each one of those, you've got some smaller subsets of different options and configurations. But I think those are your first three options. You want to decide what works best for you. One thing that separates the service body from that flatbed or stock body is that it does not have the capability to haul a gooseneck trailer. So if you do have a need for a gooseneck trailer, or you find yourself thinking about, hey, I might add one of those to my fleet of work vehicles soon, I would look at the stock bed or the flatbed if you have a gooseneck hitch need.
Okay. Well, let me give you a scenario then. So I am a father of two, and I have, let's say, a camper's not a gooseneck. It's just normal hitch. And I have a little bit of a side project. Sometimes I do some woodworking with some pallets and everything else. Is the cost difference between just going with like a base work truck 2500 or 3500 with normal bed on it, or is upgrading to commercial viable for me, or is this just the cost difference ridiculous?
Right. So let's talk about a 2500 in that scenario. So 2500 Silverado with a stock bed. We'll talk about a gas engine for these price points. That truck is going to be in the low 50s, $50,000 to $55,000 range.
Donohoo?
That's at Donohoo with our current discounts and current rebates for the month of November. That truck is going to be in the $50,000 to $55,000 range. That same truck with, let's say, a gooseneck flatbed is going to be around $60,000. That truck with a service body is also going to be around $60,000. So no matter what three options you choose there, you're between $50,000 and $60,000. So for most people, that's going to put you in a very similar payment range between $50,000 and $60,000. You're not going to have a drastic difference between those three.
Okay, but you just gain the functionality of the flatbed.
Yeah, so the functionality of the flatbed, I would say, is your kind of do-it-all bed. It can be used for anything. So the flatbed can be used to haul materials. You can haul those pallets of wood if you're doing woodworking. You can also haul longer pieces of wood or longer pieces of material that may not fit in a standard truck bed. Maybe it's something you need to lay the tailgate down, or maybe it's something that you need a wider flatbed than the stock bed allows you to. That flatbed is going to be very versatile in that sense. You can also customize a flatbed. If you need a couple extra boxes to throw underneath the deck of the flatbed, you can we add 24 to 30 inch boxes a lot of times on a flatbed. So if you've got a basic flatbed, and one of the common requests for adding boxes below would be to hold straps and hold tie downs for things when you put it on the back of the flatbed. That's a very, very simple upgrade that we do for a lot of our customers, and gives you a little bit of weatherproof storage down below. Keeps you from having to put those straps and maybe a few tools in the back seat of the truck. If you've got two kids you're hauling around with you, you don't want to have your back seats filled with a bunch of tools, and you can keep those in the toolboxes underneath there. It's also a great truck as far as versatility that we've seen. If maybe your kids are into a lot of sports and activities, and you can pull up to the ball field and throw out a couple chairs on the back of a flatbed truck. It's got a lot of fun.
It's your own stage.
Yes, exactly. It's got a lot of functionality of different things you can do. Or we have one customer that uses it daily in a tile business that he owns. But he was telling me the other day that he hauled his kayaks on the back over the weekend. So big flatbed, no boxes on top. So he's got a lot of versatility there, that if he wants to throw his bicycles for the kids and haul the camper that you're talking about, haul that thing to the beach or to the mountains or something, throw your bicycles on the back, kayaks on the back, you've got a lot of availability to do that. Most of your flatbeds are going to be somewhere in the 8 to 9 foot long range, so you've got quite a bit of bed there.
That makes sense. So financing wise, is there any difference between financing commercial versus retail pieces? So like a normal 2500 standard bed versus a flatbed 2500, is there any difference?
Typically, no major differences there. A lot of that depends on the customer. If you want to put it in your business name and you start looking at some commercial lending because it's in a business name, we can definitely help with that. Sometimes a bank might require some other documentation on the business or things like that. But typically we don't see a significant difference from going with a flatbed versus a stock bed.
Okay. And then I'm trying to remember, the 2500 does qualify for, if it's for business, it qualifies for the full deduction for that year?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I mean, you'd have to have a pretty good year to need that deduction.
Yes, that's a good problem to have.
Not a bad problem to have.
Yes.
Job-wise, is there any certain bed you would recommend? So, I mean, you got your normal jobs. You got your farmer. You got your HVAC guy, electrician, plumber, tile guy.
Yep.
Is there certain things you need to look for? Because obviously we got 200 plus different bed combinations. I think there's a flatbed with this, a flatbed with a box, flatbed with a whole skirted
thing. A lot to
thing.
look at.
There's a lot to think about.
Yes.
Is there a starting point or like a checklist you would go through to sort of think about what you need and what bed fits your requirements?
Yeah, so a little bit of what we just touched on a moment ago on the gooseneck hitch. I would start there. That would be my first question. Do I need a gooseneck hitch? If you need a gooseneck hitch, then we know that we're looking at a flatbed at that point, a gooseneck flatbed. The service body is out. It's off the list because you can't have the gooseneck hitch with a service body.
But we do have some flatbeds that come close in terms of storage to a service body. They just sort of cut back on the rear boxes, right?
Absolutely. So when we talk about a gooseneck body in its most basic form, it is just that. It is a gooseneck flatbed. No storage with the bed, no boxes underneath or on top. It is just a flat bed with a gooseneck hitch. So that's our starting bed. That price point on that bed is $59.95. So that can be added. That's on a dual rear wheel, 3500 Silverado.
So about $6,000 for your bare bones.
Yep, $6,000 for your bare bones. Next step up from that would be adding a couple boxes to the front. Maybe let's say adding two 24-inch boxes, one on each side. That's going to add $1,000.
Does that go top or bottom?
That's going on the bottom. Typically, we do it on the bottom to give you more of that bed space still usable up top. We can put it on the top if you want. That's another thing. We can put these boxes, as long as the dimensions fit, we can put these boxes anywhere you desire. So it's not uncommon that we have customers that want the boxes put on what we call the curb side, the passenger side, where if you were pulled up to a curb, you can access all of your tools without being out on the street side in traffic there.
Oh,
so
I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah, not a problem. We can customize those anywhere you want. But that would be your next option. That would be around a $7,000 bed with the two boxes. And then the next step up from that would be what we call a skirted gooseneck flatbed. And a non-skirted bed, like we just talked about in the $6,000 and $7,000 bed, below that deck of the bed, it's going to be exposed. You're going to be able to see the underworkings of the truck and all the mechanical things in the back of that truck. No issues from a road, moisture or any weather issues like that. It's just strictly a cosmetic thing. But when you move up to the skirted gooseneck body, I'll use CM truck beds as an example. Their most popular bed is the SK bed, and that is a skirted bed. You're going to get 4 boxes, 2 on each side around the bottom below the gooseneck deck. And that bed is going to be $9,000. So that is probably our most common bed that we sell is the CMSK or a skirted body of other brands as well. But that skirted gooseneck body is probably most popular.
Okay, so it's just it's a decent step up in functionality for a flatbed, but all the space and gooseneck ability that you would get with just a bare bones.
Yep, so, gooseneck ability. The deck is still completely open on all those 3 options we just discussed. Still a wide open top deck unless you decide to put a box on the top. Just more storage as you go up the ranks there in price.
Well, how crazy can we get in customization?
We can do it all. We have done it all. So we have a few trucks we keep on the lot, and we call those our job site ready trucks. So above the SK, you can get into what CM calls a TM Deluxe. So a TM Deluxe pushes the absolute max limit of storage with still being able to have enough trailer swing for a gooseneck trailer. So
it's like a service body light.
It's a service body light. It is a trimmed down service body that takes into account that, hey, we're going to have a gooseneck trailer swinging back here, and we need a little extra swing ability on that trailer. So we take a lot of those TM Deluxes and we create what we call a job site ready truck. We can do anything from air compressors to fuel tanks. We can do power inverters. We've done some custom tool drawers, just like you would have a toolbox in a shop that has slide out ball bearing drawers. We can add those to any of the storage compartments on a bed as well.
Okay, so if you're shopping and you're looking for beds, your first step is just to say, do I need a gooseneck?
Yep.
And then there's 1,000 questions to ask. If you answered yes to that,
yes,
then you have, how much utility do I need out of this bed? Do I just need a flatbed, or do I want, watertight storage? Do I need a compressor? Do I need a fuel system or a secondary fuel tank to fill up my toys or my tractors or whatever I need?
Right.
Toolboxes. So you start at the gooseneck, then you work out the next question. So I guess service body is going to be the same thing. You've already said no to the gooseneck. What are sort of the checklists for service body?
So on the service body, most of your configurations you will see are going to be a 6-box service body. So you're going to have a vertical compartment, a horizontal compartment over the wheel, and then a rear vertical compartment. 99% of your service bodies, no matter what the brand, are going to be that same setup. Anything you get into that has a different door configuration or layout is typically going to be a custom build. We can do some of those. The time frames on those are longer than your typical service body, but we'll definitely be glad to entertain whatever you might need if you need a custom setup on a service body. Some of your options on a service body over the basic service body, what I call the basic service body, most people go for the steel option. You can upgrade to aluminum. Aluminum's got a couple different reasons why you might want to consider aluminum. Number one is weight savings. There's a significant weight savings. It's typically around 50% of the weight on an aluminum.
50%?
Yep.
So
50.
that just helps your payload, right?
Exactly. So let's say you've got 1,000-pound service body and you've saved 500 pounds by going to aluminum. There's 500 pounds more of tools you can carry with you, or maybe fuel you could carry with you in a fuel tank. So you've got that, and then you've also got certain parts of the country where corrosion resistance, it can be a big deal. When you get into some of the salt states that use salt on the roads, that's definitely something you want to look at as well.
Okay. So big questions for service body. What are the primary things? Obviously, you got your boxes. How much storage do you need? Then you have all those questions about tools or accessories that we talked about with the gooseneck. Mm-hmm. Is there any additional things like ladder racks or things that you would consider on the service body? Since you don't have to worry about the gooseneck now.
Yeah, if you don't have to worry about the gooseneck, now it's easy to add a ladder rack. You don't have to worry about anything with a trailer interfering with that. The ladder rack is probably our number one added accessory to a service body. We offer a few different versions. We offer those in white or black. You can match the body or match the truck. Just depends on how you want to do that. One other common option is flip top lids. So you have your 6 standard service body compartments. The area on top of the service body, a few of the manufacturers also offer flip up lids. They have small bins in them a lot of times for keeping screws and nuts and bolts.
I've seen that with the Royal body.
Royal has those standard. A lot of the other Knapheide, Redding, those are options on there. Royal does have those standard. I would say also one of the most common things we add for a service body as well is a power inverter. Just about everybody today that's in some sort of service business is using lithium battery powered tools. So traveling from one job site to the next, if you're a plumber, traveling from one house to the next, maybe just that 20, 30 minutes in the truck when you've plugged up your batteries. These batteries are amazing these days how quick they can charge. Just that small drive from one site to the next probably gets you a full charge on all your batteries.
That seems like a pretty smart ad.
Yeah, we do those inside the service body as well as inside the cab. We leave it up to the customer where they want those to be put. Some customers like putting their tools in the body and they know it's locked there. Some customers like to have those in the cab just for a little extra security protection as long as weather resistance when it's in the cab of the truck. We can do either one of those, no issues there. A typical power inverter we install is like 1,000-watt inverter, and that's around $1,000 to add that.
Okay, so you just gain a whole bunch of ability to charge tools and anything electric.
Yeah, tools.
You run lights off of it?
You can run some small lights off of it. It's not uncommon. We're talking about carrying the kids with you too. You can plug up a laptop back there. You can plug up a charger for an iPad while you're driving down the road. You never can have too many plugs with kids and iPads and Nintendo devices these days. So.
How crazy can a service body get? Does it go like full? Can you live in one?
Yeah, a service body could be as crazy as you want it to be. I don't know about living in one. I guess it's possible.
I have been asked online.
Would I want to live in one? No. Is it possible? Yes. You can. We even have enclosed service bodies. So talking about living in them, yes, you could be inside of the service body. There is no limit to the imagination on service bodies. So most of the customers we sell service bodies to, they are a business that needs to take their tools and have all of their tools with them at one job site. It's not somebody that's going to come home each day and unload the entire service body and unload all of those tools. They want to be able to outfit that service body with the tools, with the upgrades that we offer, and then park the truck at the end of the day and go into the house and you're done. There's no unloading your tools. There's no having to decide, what do I need to take out today, load tomorrow. You've pretty much got a mobile work base right there.
With the power inverter, you don't have to take your batteries out to charge them.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Yep. So
that's kind of cool.
It is. That there's just so many different things you can do with a power inverter. It's one of my favorite upgrades. I'm always talking to customers, and I always hear different things they've come up with it with the iPads or with the Nintendo. Or I even had one customer talked about he powered a small fan with it. That if he was working a lot of times on a service body on the horizontal box that's over the wheel, you can let that door down and kind of use it as a little bit of a desk when you're sitting there working on some small items, or maybe even using it to write some stuff down when you're sitting there at that mobile desk. But he had run a small extension cord out to that and had him a small fan there. So maybe something that you're out on a job site and it's a hot summer day and you might have an umbrella or something out there to keep some shade off of you, but the fan just takes it to the next level.
So as a retail buyer, I'm pretty much going to be sticking to the flatbed or the service body. Are there obviously, for my use case that I gave you, the family of 4 with the light bit of woodworking.
Yeah,
I'm probably not going to go beyond that. But do we have any? What are the specialty beds? How crazy can they get?
We can do anything. So we have some of the specialty beds that we've sold. We have a hot shot bed. And for the people in the hot shot business, it's a minimalist bed. It's the minimum you need to make a truck bed, but also save on all that weight that allows you to haul as much cargo capacity as you need.
So it's just a straight bare bones hauler.
It's the absolute minimum you need to legally have a bed and to have a hitch and everything you need there. So we have done aluminum beds that are custom painted to match the truck. We can also do that. We have done aluminum beds where we polished out the bed and made the bed to like a mirror finish.
What about dump bodies and sort of the construction or lumber or anything like that?
We do. We offer dump bodies. You've got a few different options as far as fold down sides or non-folding sides. That's a common option there.
What does a dump body cost? They're pretty expensive, aren't they?
So a dump body on a 3500 dually, you're looking at starting price points usually around 13,000.
Okay, so a significant increase from flatbed, but functionality-wise, just head over heels.
Completely different bed, much thicker metal, a lot heavier bed. You've also got a hoist that's powering this dump body. Significant difference between that bed and your basic flatbed.
Okay. I know landscaping's one. I see a lot of guys that run around and different things. Are there any I guess 3,500, but is there any landscaping solutions that we've done in the past?
We have. One of the most common features that we add to a gooseneck flatbed, let's say the CMRD that we were talking about earlier for the $6,000 price point, for a landscape professional would be just adding a fuel tank to the front of the truck bed there. So we've done anywhere from 50 gallons up to 150 gallons. You'll have a hose and pump just like you would if you pulled up to the gas station, and that's all powered through the truck. GM offers a upfitter switch kit that we order on all of our HD trucks that gives you some toggle switches there on the dash that once it has been installed, and that is something you would need to request it to be installed prior to purchase. Once that is installed, you have 5 switches that are ready to be plugged up to anything that needs power. So typically we'll take that fuel tank, we'll attach it to one of those power sources, and you just turn auxiliary 1 on, your fuel pump is powered, and you can pull up your lawnmower and pull it up next to the truck there, fill it up with fuel. In the landscape business, having to stop, 1 or 2 times a day and fill up all your equipment or fill up cans or pull those cans out of the back of the truck or the back of the trailer, it can be time consuming. It's also hard to, keep all of those different small cans tied down and in a good spot that I'm sure there's some legal requirements on that too. Makes it difficult.
So you just hook up a trailer to the back of the truck, get all your tools on there, and then you got the pump, you got all the different things, and maybe run an alternator if you got electric weed.
Yeah, we're starting to see some electric power tools on the landscaping side as well, as far as weed eaters and blowers and things, and that's also where that power inverter could come in as well.
That's very nice. So I guess there's a lot of things to consider, but there's really, unless you're coming in from a specialty job position where you already have an idea what you need, if just a retail buyer is pursuing buying a truck, they can look at the standard if all they need is to contain stuff, or they can look at a flatbed if they want a lot of functionality, but also want the flexibility of a gooseneck, or they could go service body. And you're saying at the end of the day, the cost, especially with financing, is going to be more, but not significantly more. It'll be negligible in terms of your monthly payment.
Absolutely. Yeah, I find that a lot of customers are surprised by that. They have an idea in their head that it's a drastic price increase to get a body put on a truck, and it's really not the case. We talked about some of those gooseneck flatbeds. You're basically starting at around the $6,000 price point to upgrade to a basic bed.
Okay. This month at Donohoo Chevrolet, is there anything that customers need to focus on? Any certain good deals, great things going into November and December, when usually new car prices are the best deals available? But This year's a little bit different because of how weird the market is.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are some great deals on some 2024, 2025 leftover inventory right now. We are starting to see the 2026 model years hitting the lot. Right now, we've got about 250, 3,500 Silverados in that are 2026 model years. We've got about 20 leftover 2025 models right now that we are offering some really good deals on. Got a wide variety of trucks in those. Really no changes from 2025 to 2026 model year from Chevrolet. So those discounts are strictly for a model year. So some really good opportunities there to save some money and really get a very similar truck, but the only difference being a model year.
Okay. Well, if you made it through to the end, we appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If there's anything that you want to see in the future or any topics you want us to cover, please let us know down in the comments below. This has been Donohoo Chevrolet's podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.